Fine, good afternoon to you all students. Hi students, how are you? I hope you all are fine. Students, are you studying daily portion? So are you revising daily portion or not students? So please study daily portion, okay? So welcome to our today's online class students. So now we are studying about chapter 9. So what's the title of our chapter? List, tuple, sets and dictionary. Cindy? So in this chapter, we have completed till list. So list, last class I have taught some programs, isn't it? Programs in list. So have you all studied that programs in list? Very important programs. Each and every programs are very important. Okay. So today we are going to study about tuples. Okay. So today we are going to study about which topic? Tuples. So today we are going to study about tuples. So one more program is left in the list. So first I will teach about the list, the programs in list. Then we can study about tuples. Okay. So listen carefully. So what's the program we are going to study today means? So generate. So if we write a program, read the question, write a program to generate Fibonacci series in the list. Okay. So we are going to generate a program. So you are going to generate a Fibonacci series in a list. Okay. So and also we are going to find the sum of all values. First we are going to find the Fibonacci series in a list, as well as we are going to find the sum of all values. Okay. So for that, listen carefully. So first we are assigning two variables in the list. Okay. How many variables we are going to assign? Two variables. So first variable, the value assigned as a -1. What's the value of A? So value of A is -1. Okay. Then what's the value of B? B is 1. Okay. So two variables we are assigning. The value of A is -1 and B is 1. That's the initial value. Next, here they asked to generate the Fibonacci series. So you need to enter number of terms. How many terms you need to generate the Fibonacci series. Okay. For that you are declaring a variable called n. Okay. What variable we are declaring? N. So listen. So are entering the input. So here only you are going to give input. So input of data type, which data type? Numbers. You need to give numbers. So numbers means always the data type is int. So if you need to give input means you need to declare which function? Input of function. So what's the use of input of function? So in the output screen you can able to enter your input. So int input of. So here you are going to enter number of terms. Okay. So initially, so in question they have asked to find the Fibonacci series as well as to find the sum of all values. To find the Fibonacci series, you are going to give two variables. The two variables called A and B. So the initial value we are setting as a -1 and the initial value of A is -1 as well as B is 1. Okay. So next we are going to enter the number of terms. Okay. So next here how many terms you are entering, that much of terms it need to iterate. That means you need to give inside the loop. For that iteration you are giving another one variable called what? I. Okay. So the initial value of I you are setting as a 0. So always the initial value of I is 0. So before last class we have studied some programs last week. So that program also we will give the initial value of I will be 0. Okay, next. So in question they asked to find the sum of all values. So before you are going to calculate the sum, first you need to give the value as a 0. Understand? So first we are going to calculate the sum. First you are initializing the value of sum as a 0. Okay. So all the values of Fibonacci series need to store in the list. Okay. For that you are going to create a list. What's the name of the list here? Fibo. What's the name of the list? Fibo. So the list always the values enclosed within square brackets. So whether any value is there initially? No. So we are calling this as an empty list. Okay. So after calculation all the values will be stored inside this list Fibo. Understand? Next you are going to find the sum as well as Fibonacci series. So how many variables you have declared first to find the Fibonacci series? Two variables. So you are going to add these two values. What are the values? A and B. So that result you are storing in which one? Yes. So all the values are stored in variable which? Yes. So you need to store all the values in where? in the list FIBO. So for adding each value in the list, that means each value, what are the calculations you are doing, after that all the values you need to store in the list. For that, which function you need to give? Up and down, isn't it? So where you need to store the values? In the list. So what's the name of the list here? FIBO dot. So you need to store the value in list. For that, which one? Up and down function. Okay. So up and down. So you are calculating the values and storing in which variable? Yes. So you need to call that variable yes. Understand? First you have sum 2 values. Next 2 values. Next 2. Likewise, each time need to be sum. So for that, so you are giving sum plus equal to yes. What's the meaning? Each time the value will get incremented and the value will be stored in the variable yes. Then that value will store in the list called FIBO. Understand? So Fibonacci series, first you are assigning the value A equal to B. What value you are entering in the A, that value is assigned to B. Then the value of B is assigned to S. Then each time the value will get iterated. That is called what? Fibonacci series. So if you see the output means you can able to understand how the Fibonacci series will work. Okay. Next, you are going to print in a print statement. You need to display all the values or Fibonacci series in the output screen, isn't it? For that, in the print statement you are giving Fibonacci series. Question itself asks Fibonacci to generate Fibonacci series. So particular number of times you are going to generate the Fibonacci series. So inside the print statement you are giving Fibonacci series up to number of times. So number of times you have enter in the which variable? N. So only they are giving str of n. Understand? So number of times you are giving in the variable n. For that you are entering the variable str of n. You are calling that variable. So Fibonacci series up to this n times. How many times you are entering that? Term is, so you have stored all the things in which list? FIBO. So they are calling the list called FIBO. Understand? Next you are going to, first the Fibonacci series you have displayed. Then you need to sum all the values. So sum is stored in where? Sum is stored in sum. So sum of Fibonacci series is stored in the variable sum. So you should call the value sum. Understand? So now you run the program. So see the output. First what output you will get? In the number of terms. So in the number of terms they are given 10. So how many times will be coming? 10. Next what output you will get? Fibonacci series up to how many number of terms you are entering? 10. So Fibonacci series up to 10 terms. Understand? Listen. So how it will calculate it means, so here a plus b. See, s equal to a plus b. Minus 1 plus 1. What value you will get? Minus 1 plus 1? 0. Understand? Next, listen. 0 plus 1. What answer you will get? 1. Next, 1 plus 1. 2. Then 1 plus 2. What answer you will get? 3. 2 plus 3? 5. So 5, then 3 plus 5? 8. 5 plus 8? 13. 8 plus 13? 21. 13 plus 21? 34. For that only you are giving the assignment this a equal to b, b equal to s. Each time the value will get incremented. Understand? This is the concept of Fibonacci series. Then you are given the sum of Fibonacci series. So it will add all the what are the values you are given inside the list, FIBO list. So it will add and display the value as a result. Understand? So this is the program for finding Fibonacci series as well as the sum of values. So this is the program come under list. Okay, this and all very important programs. Understand? Yes. So next we are going to study about tuples. Okay, so first what's the first data type we have studied this chapter? There are 4 data types are there. What are they? List, tuples, sets and dictionary. So list, we have completed list. Then we are going to study about tuples. Okay, so tuples and list is almost the same. The functions, working and everything is tuples and list is almost the same. Only some difference is there. Okay, listen. So tuples also you can able to store number of values. Okay, so tuples also you can able to store number of values. But so here the how many number of values you have mentioned inside the tuple. So all the values should enclosed in parenthesis. That's the difference. Okay, so in the list all the values are enclosed in square bracket. So in the program if you see the values are given inside the square bracket means you should know that is a list. So if the values are given inside parenthesis means you should know that's a tuple. Understand what's the difference between list and tuple? So In a list, the values are enclosed within square brackets, but in tuple, the values are enclosed within parentheses. So, each value should be separated by commas. In list also you need to separate the values using commas. In tuples also you need to separate the values using commas. Understand? That's the first thing, first difference. But if the working compared to list and tuple is almost same, but the values in the list you can change, but in tuple you can't able to change the values. Last chapter we have studied about strings. Strings also you can't able to change the values, but you can able to delete or modify. But in list you can able to change the values, but in tuples also you can't able to. Once you define the values inside the tuple, you can't able to change the values. Understand what I mean by tuple? Tuples consist of number of values separated by commas enclosed within parentheses. Okay. So this tuples is also similar to list, but you can able to change the values in the list, but in tuple, you cannot be able to change the values in the list, but you can be able to change the values in the tuple. Understand? So very important question, difference between list and tuples. Okay. So next thing, advantages of tuples over list. So what are the advantages are there compared to list? What are the advantages are there in tuples? Okay. So listen. So what's the first point? Already we have studied the same point only they are given. Understand? So elements in the list can able to change. That is mutable. What's other name for changeable? Mutable. Okay. So differentiation, if they ask for differentiation between list and tuples means also you can able to write this answer. You made a tabular column and write this as an answer for differentiation between list and tuples. Okay, what's the first point? So the elements in the list can able to change, but the elements in the tuples can't able to change. So that we are calling as changeable or mutable. Here unchangeable or immutable. So this is the first difference between tuple and the list. Okay. Then second difference. So the values in the list is enclosed with square brackets, but in tuple the values are enclosed within parentheses. This is the second difference. Understand? So in list the values are enclosed within square bracket, but in tuple always enclosed within parentheses. Okay. Then inside the loop compared to list, so this tuple is very faster. Okay. So the working of tuple inside the loop is very faster than list. Understand? 3 points we have studied. What are the 3 points? So list the values cannot be changed, can be changed. Tuples cannot change. Then in the values in the list are enclosed within square bracket, here enclosed within parentheses. So iteration compared to list, the tuple is faster. Very important question. So what do you mean by tuple? Also very important. So advantages of tuple over list. This also very important. Sometimes they will ask differentiate between tuples and list. So same answer you can write. Understand? Next creating tuples. Okay. How you are going to create a new tuple. Okay. So creation of tuple is similar to the list. How you will create a list, the same way only you are going to create this tuple also. Okay. So how you will create? So the elements in the list always you should enclosed within parentheses, isn't it? But in list you can enclosed within square bracket, but here you need to enclosed within parentheses. One more point, the elements inside in the tuple, you can also define the elements in the tuple without the parentheses also. Okay. So if you are not giving the parentheses means also the program will consider the value as a tuple. Understand? So you can able to give parentheses. If you need means you can give the parentheses. If you no need means no need to give the parentheses. Okay. So if you define with parentheses or define without parentheses means also the function consider the element as a same. Understand? So what's the form of creating tuple? So creation of tuple is similar to the list. The value in the list is enclosed within square bracket, but tuples is enclosed within parentheses. Always the element should be enclosed within parentheses, but if you need means you can able to give the value within parentheses if you are not mentioning, so if you are not mentioned the parenthesis means also the function will consider the value as a tuple. Understand? So there is no difference between the parenthesis and without parenthesis. So this is a syntax for creating tuple. Okay, so listen. So first you are going to study about creation of empty tuple. So you need to give, see this is the creation of empty tuple. So tuple name equal to parenthesis. Okay, this is called empty tuple. So there is no elements inside the tuple. If there is no elements inside the tuple or list, we are calling as an list means we will call the list as a empty list. Tuple we are calling as an empty tuple. Okay, then so number of tuple with number of elements means you need to give tuple name and all the elements are enclosed within parentheses and each element is separated with commas. So E1, E2 till E9, these are the elements you are given inside the tuple. Okay, the same thing if you are giving without parenthesis also, the program will consider this as a tuple. But list is not like that. You should mention all the values inside the square bracket. So if you mention inside the square bracket means only the program will consider the particular thing is a list. But tuple is not like that. If you are not giving this parenthesis also, the function will consider that as a tuple. Understand? So see this example. What's this one? My tuple of 1. This is the name of the tuple. What's the name of the tuple? My tup of 1. So equal to. So what are the values? And also one thing. So in the tuple also you can able to mention the values of different data types. You can able to give them values of int, float, as well as strings, character, etc. etc. Okay. So any data, multiple data types you can able to give inside the tuple. So like a list you can able to give different kinds of data types inside the tuple also. So how many data types are there here? So first 3 of them are data type int. Next 3 of them are data type character. Then last thing is a data type of string. Isn't it? So all the values they have enclosed within parentheses. Then each value is separated using commas. So this is called as one tuple. But in list the values are enclosed within square brackets. Now you are going to print this name of this tuple. Okay. So what statement you need to give? Print of the name of the tuple. What's the name of the tuple? My tup of 1. See the same thing is displayed as an output. Understand? So listen. So one point you have studied tuples you can able to give the values with parentheses or without parentheses. So without parentheses also the program will consider as a tuple. Isn't it? So listen. Another one example they have given. What's the name of the tuple here? My tup of 2. So the same elements they have given. Listen, but whether here they are giving the elements inside the parenthesis or not. Whether they have given the elements inside the parenthesis here? No. But listen, if you are printing this tuple, so print of my tuple of. See the output. So the output, it is displayed with parenthesis. Understand? If you are not mentioning the parenthesis in the element also, you will get as the output with parenthesis. So understand the difference between parenthesis, elements with parenthesis and without parenthesis. Understand? So next thing is creating tuples using tuple of function. Okay. So what's the use of tuple of function? This is all very important. Okay. Tuple of function. So what's the use of tuple of function means? If you need to create a list from the tuple. Sorry, if you need to create a tuple from the list. Okay. So if you need to create a tuple from the list means you should use tuple of function. Okay. Next slide, an example is there. So by seeing this example, you can able to understand. Okay. So what's the use of tuple of function? So tuple of function is mainly used to create a tuples from the list. Okay. But what's the thing you need to remember means if you are going to create a tuple from the list, so all the elements should enclosed within square brackets because the elements in the list always enclosed within square brackets, isn't it? So don't get confused. So the elements in the list always enclosed within square brackets. So if you need to create a tuples from the list means, so all the elements, whatever elements you have given, all the elements need to enclosed within square brackets. Understand? So 2 points you have studied. What are the points? So tuple of function mainly used to create a tuples from the list. So if you need to create a tuple from the list, all the elements need to enclosed within square brackets. Understand? So see this example as well as syntax. So what's the syntax means? First you should give the tuple name of the tuple, then tuple of, listen carefully. So tuple always the element should enclosed within parenthesis. But you are going to create a tuple from the list. So inside this tuple you need to create which one? List elements. So list elements always enclosed within square bracket. Understand what's the use of tuple of function? Tuple of function is mainly used to create a tuple from the list. So all the elements in the list should be enclosed within square bracket. So the elements in the list should be enclosed within square bracket and the elements in tuple should enclosed within parenthesis. Understand? So see this example. So my tup of 3. What's the name of this one? This is the name of my tup of 3 means name of the tuple. So which function you are going to use to get the tuple from the list? Tuple of function. Okay. So tuple of. So listen. So inside the tuple of function you are giving list elements. List of elements. What are the list elements? 23, 45, 90. So all the list elements are enclosed within square brackets. So each element is separated using commas. Next, you are going to print this list. Sorry, this tuple. So what statement you need to give? Print of. What's the name of the tuple here? My tup of 3. Okay. So what output you will get? See. So you are giving the elements in the list as a square bracket. But in output, see, all the elements are displayed within parenthesis. So elements displayed in parenthesis means what's the meaning of that one? That is a tuple. Understand? Next, if you are giving type of tuple name means it will display the output as a class tuple. Okay. What's the use of type of function? So type of function is used to display the given data as a tuple. Data type as a tuple. Okay. What's the use of type of function? Type of function is mainly used to display the given type as a class tuple. Understand? So listen. So you are giving type of, what's the tuple name here? What's the my tup of 3. So see the output, what output you are getting. So the output it is displayed in the output. This is belongs to a class tuple. So like a data type, int means numbers means it will display int. Point numbers means float. So likewise it will display the output as a this is belongs to the data type tuple. Understand? So what's the use of type of function? So type of function is used to display this belongs to which data type. That means it will display the output as a tuple of function. Understand? So listen. Next, creating a single element tuple. Okay. So you are going to create a single element tuple. Okay. Listen. So when you are going to create a single element in the tuple, so you should mention a comma at the last of the element. Okay. So if you are going to create a single element in the tuple, at last you should mention comma at the end of the element. Okay. So if you are not mentioning the comma at the last, so this if you are giving inside the type of function you are giving one data type. Okay. So some elements you are giving in, so in tuple name you are giving some elements. So inside the type of, if you are not giving comma at the end of the element, so it will consider the type as a normal data type. What do you mean by normal data type? Numbers means it will belongs to int. Point numbers means it will belong to float. ABCD or particular words mean it will belong to string. So it won't display the output as a tuple. So you should mention the elements. If you define a single element in the tuple, you should mention the comma at the last of the element. Then only you will get the output as a this belongs to a type tuple. Understand? So if you are creating a tuple, so the tuple contains only one element. Okay. So if you are creating a tuple, that tuple contains only one element means we are calling that tuple as a singleton tuple. Max you have studied, I think you might have studied max in a set. So a set containing only one element within the set means you are calling as a singleton set. Isn't it? Similarly, So inside the tuple, you have created a tuple with only one element, means we are calling that tuple as a singleton tuple. Understand, very important 1 mark question. Creating tuple with only one element, we are calling as a singleton tuple. Okay. So if you need to get the output as a data type tuple means, so you should mention the comma at the end of the element. If you are not giving the comma means it will consider that as a ordinary data type. Understand? So see this example. So here they are giving tuple. What's the name of the tuple here? My tup of 4. So inside they have given only one element. So this is called which tuple? Singleton tuple. A tuple contains only one element. We are calling as a singleton tuple. So already we have studied. So if you are creating a tuple with single element, if you are not mentioning comma at the last means it will consider as a data type as ordinary data type. So what's the ordinary data? What's the data type of 10? Int. So if you are giving type of this, if you are giving type of this tuple means what output you need to get? Tuple. But if you are not giving, if you need to get the output tuple means, so you should mention comma at the last. Here you are not mentioning comma at the last, so you will get the output as a C class int. So this is belongs to class int, which data type int. But so you should get the output as a this is belongs to class tuple. So what should you need mention? So listen. So what you should mention? So my tuple of, listen, the comma at the last. See, listen, the value 10. So you are giving comma at the last. Okay. Then you are mentioning type of. So what's the tuple name? My tup of 5. So see the output. What output you are getting? Class tuple. Understand? So what's the use of type of function actually? So it will display this is belongs to which data type. That means which class or tuple. Okay. So if you need to get the output as a tuple data type, you should mention a comma at the end of the element. So can you find the difference between this example and this one? So here you are not mentioning comma at the last, so you are getting ordinary data type. This number belongs to data type int. But here you are mentioning comma at the last, so you are getting the data type as a tuple. Understand? Next, accessing values in a tuple. What do you mean by accessing? So lot of elements you have created in the tuple. You are going to access or take each element in the tuple. Okay. So how you will access? So in strings also you have studied. So accessing elements in the string. Accessing elements in the list. How you will access? So you can access the elements in the list or strings or anything using index numbers. Isn't it? So likewise, in the tuple also you are going to access the elements using index number. Okay. List also you will access each element using index number. Tuple also you will access each element using index number. Okay. So in Python always the index value start from 0. Last value you have mentioned the last value. How you will take the last value? N minus 1. So if you need to take the elements till 5 means you should mention the last value as 11. So last index value always the program will take n minus 1. Understand? So see this example. So first they have given one tuple. What's the name of the tuple here? Tup of 1. So what are the elements they have given? 12, 78, 91, tumble, likewise lot of elements are there. So now you are going to access all the elements of a tuple. Okay. So what's the normal step? Access all the elements of a tuple. Just you need to give the print statement. So print of, what's the name of the tuple here? Tup of 1. Okay. So print of tup of 1. So all the elements it will display as a output. Okay. So next the same thing. So how you need to access the elements in the tuple using index numbers. So see. So how you need to give the index numbers? Index numbers always start from the value 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Isn't it? So first you are going to access the elements without giving any index numbers. So without index numbers, how you need to access all the elements? Simply you can give print statement. Isn't it? So print statement you are giving all the elements are displayed. Next you are going to display all the elements using index value. Okay. So listen. So inside the print of statement, what's the format for giving this index value? Name of the list or name of the tuple, then the index value need to enclosed within square brackets. Listen. So print of statement. What's the name of the list here? TUP of 1. TUP of 1. Here you are going to access the elements, the index from 2 is to 2 to 5. What's the meaning? So it will access the elements till 4. Last value always n minus 1. So 2 to 4. Okay. So listen. So from where the two index values? So here you can put the index value 0, 1, 2. So from which element it will access? 2 means 91. So 2, 3, 4 till 4 index value. So the elements will access. What are they? 91, Tamil, Telugu. Understand? So this and all already you have studied in chapter 8 also. Strings. Same thing only. Okay. Next you are going to access the elements without specifying the first index value. Okay. So you are not specifying the first index value, starting index, but you are specifying only the last index value. So if you are not specifying the first index value means it will access the elements automatically from the first. So if you are specifying the starting index means, so it will start from that index value. If you are not specifying the first index value means, so it will take the elements from the starting index value 0. So till you have given, so first starting index you are not giving, but ending index value you are giving till 5. So till 5 means which value it will access? 5 minus 1. That means 4 till 4th value. Understand? So from where it will access index values 0 to 4. So from where to where it will access 12? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So till Telugu it will display as a output. Understand? Then next thing. So you are specifying only the starting index but you are not specifying the ending index value. Okay, you have specified only the starting index value but you are not specifying the ending index value. So what that means, how it will access? From the starting value it will access till the ending index value of your how many in the tuple, how many elements you have given till the ending index value. So here it won't take the last index value as a n minus 1. Why? Here you are not specifying the last index value. You have specified only the starting index value. If you are not specifying the last index value means it will access the elements till the last element of the tuple. Understand? So but the first index value from where you have specified, from that index value it will access. So from where we are specifying 4. So 4 means from here Telugu, then till the last value it will access. Understand? Next thing, see. So you are not specifying starting index value as well as ending index value. So without specifying starting index value and ending index value, only colon you have mentioned inside the square bracket. So how it will access? So it will access all the elements from the tuple. Understand? So if you are not specifying the starting index value as well as ending index value, only colon you have mentioned means the how it will access? It will access all the elements given in the tuple. So understand the difference? This and all very important. Likewise this they will ask own question. So if you have thorough this concept means only you can able to write the own question answers. Understand? Next. So update and delete tuple. Okay. So already you have studied. So in tuple, the elements in the tuple you can able to make modifications or changes. But in the list you can't able to change, isn't it? So you already know the list the elements in the tuple is immutable, isn't it? But instead of so in a list you can able to change the elements, but in the tuple you can't able to change the elements. So we are saying the elements in the tuple is immutable. You can't able to change any elements in the tuple, but in the list you can able to change the elements. So instead of changing any values or elements in the list, so you can able to join the two tuples as well as you can able to delete the tuple. That and all you can do. So you can't able to changes or modifications can do in the tuple, but you can able to join the two tuples as well as delete the tuple. Understand? So listen. So this is a program for joining of two tuples. Okay. So here two tuples you are going to mention. What are they? TUP1 and TUP2. Okay. So two tuples. You are going to add these two tuples. What are the tuples? TUP1 and TUP2. Okay. So listen. How you need to add two tuples you have mentioned. Then third tuple is TUP3. How you need to add? TUP1 plus TUP2, like a set in the mathematics you have studied in mathematical sets, similar only, okay. So you have add these two tuples, TUP1 and TUP2, okay. So this adding values are stored in the result where, in which tuple? TUP3. So you need to print which tuple now? This TUP3. Now see the output. So both the elements are added, both the tuples are added and displayed. First it will display the elements of the tuple 1. Second it will display the elements of the tuple 2. But you are not able to make changes in the tuple, but you can able to add 2 or 3 tuples. Understand? Next thing you have studied, you can able to delete the tuple. Okay. So to delete the tuple, so what's the syntax means? Del, you need to give the tuple name. Okay. So what's the syntax for deleting tuple? Del, the name of the tuple. Understand? So see this example. So what's the name of the tuple here? TUP of 1 equal to, inside this tuple they have given some numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So you are going to delete this tuple. Okay. So for that, first what you will do? First, always before deletion you should print the elements in the list or tuple. So here you should print the elements. So inside the print statement you are giving the elements of tuple 1. So elements of tuple in which variable you need to call? Name of the tuple TUP1. Next, what's the format for deleting tuple? Del. What keyword we used to delete? Del. So del tuple name. So what's the name of the tuple? TUP1. Next, you are so seeing the tuple by giving print statement, print of TUP1. Just guess and say. So in this, once you run the what output you will get? The elements of tuple 1 is, so this element you will get as a output. Understand? Next step you are deleting the particular tuple. Next, whether you will get the output? No. Why? Because you have deleted the full tuple, entire tuple you have deleted. After that, whether you will get the output? No. So you will get the error. So that tuple is not defined. See the output? Understand? First you are defining the tuple, then you are displaying the tuple by give the print statement, then you are giving deleting the tuple by using del statement. After that you are run the program, means you won't get the tuple. You will get the error message that tuple is not defined. Understand? So next thing is a tuple assignment. Okay. Next, what the thing you are going to study? Tuple assignment. So next thing we are going to study about tuple assignment. Okay. So what do you mean by assignment? Assignment means you are assigning some values to the tuple. For example, a equal to 5. What's the meaning of that one? You are assigning the value 5 to the variable a. B equal to 10. What's the meaning? You are assigning a value 10 to the variable b. So likewise, you are going to assign some values to the tuples. Understand? You are going to assign some values to the tuple. So this tuple assignment is a most important feature in the Python. Okay. So always, if you assign values to the variables, means how you will do? For example, a equal to 5. Always you should give the variables at the left side and the values at the right side. A equal to 5. So which one is the variable? A is a variable. So variables always you should mention at the left side. Then 5, the value is always mentioned at the right side. So in between that a and 5, you are giving one symbol. Which is symbol? Equal to. So that symbol we are calling as an assignment operator. Equal to symbol is used to assign the values to variables, etc. Okay. So and also one thing you should mention. So how many variables you have mentioned at the left side, same values you should mention to the right side. That means numbers become same. Count. For example, a comma b, 2 variables you have mentioned. So in the left side. So right side, how many values you should mention? 2 values. You are in left side you are giving a comma b comma c. Right side you are giving only one value 5. So whether it is correct? Only one value means the value 5 is assigned to variable a. B and c there is no value. So how many variables you have assigned at the left side? Same number of values you should mention at the right side. Understand? So that only they have given. See. So here there are 3 variables they are assigned. How many variables? 3. A, B and C equal to 34, 90 and 76. What's the meaning of this one? So 35 is assigned to value. The 34 value is assigned to the variable A, 90 is assigned to the variable B, and 76 is assigned to the variable C. Understand? Listen. So there are in this program A, B, C. Three variables they have given. 34, 90, 76. So now you are going to print this tuple. So what value you will mention? So what output you are getting? 34, 90, 76. So here also three variables you are mentioning. So right side also, left side three variables, right side also three values. So you will get the output as the values for the variable. Understand? So if you are giving some expression means the expression is evaluated first and after that only you will get the result. For example, listen, x, y, z, p. So how many variables you are given? 4. So here first the value of x is they are given 2 into 2. What's the value? 4. Next 5 divided by 3 plus 4. So 5 divided by 3 means it will come point something plus 4. So 5 point something it will come. Okay. Next 15 modulus 2. So one value you will get. The 15 modulus 2. So the remainder you will get as 1, I think is so. 1. So whether 34 is greater than 65. The answer is false. So all the, if you give expressions like this, first it will evaluate the expression, then it will display the answer. So see the output. First output 2 into 2, 4. Next 5 divided by 3 plus 4. The answer you are getting 5.66666 like that. Next 15 modulus 2. The remainder you are getting is 1. Whether 34 is greater than 65? No. The answer you are getting is false. So this is the use of assignment operators. Okay. Okay. Today up to this enough. So tomorrow we can continue the next two portions. So today you have studied one program, Fibonacci series, as well as tuples I have started, creation of tuples, accessing elements in the tuple, then del statement. So what are things I have taught today? So all the things very important. Mainly Fibonacci series program very important, as well as differentiate between tuples over the list. What do you mean by tuples? Differentiate between tuples over the list. Very important. So after completion of this session, so how many programs I have taught today under each heading, each program you should study and write. Tuples, advantages of tuples, differentiation between tuples and lists. You should study and write in your computer notebook. This is the homework for you. So please students, study well. Thank you students. Remaining we can continue in the next class. Thank you.